You know who else he funds? Laura Loomer. That's weird. You know, Laura, I don't know how much money you're getting from billionaires, but I know that I'm not getting a single dime.
Conspiracy theories are dangerous.
Information is the oxygen of a democracy.
With Republicans, with progressives, with libertarians, because this is not about right and left, this is about right and wrong.
It's so secret we can't talk.
Our security is at stake.
Just so you know what we're looking at here, sake of transparency, this box and this box, what you're seeing on screen here, this is all AI summaries, okay? So do not treat what's in this box as absolute fact. This does include links to sources, which is what I will show you over here. You should not trust AI to tell you the truth. You should have AI help you find sources if you're going to use it, and then read those sources for yourself, do your own research within it, make up your own mind, and use AI as a tool to help you clarify your understanding based on actual sources. But we're going to refer to these lists just for the organizational structure of which donors gave how much money, and then we're going to refer to the sources to get to know them just a little bit, okay? So, who are the top 10 TPUSA donors, as best as we can tell initially? First off, the number 1 and number 2 slots on the list are basically all anonymous donor-advised funds, which is common. It's where rich people have these things set up, these organizations that are basically pass-through organizations for money. So they donate to the organization, and then the organization essentially is a black box that then donates that money to causes. And so we don't actually know who all that money is coming from, and a whole bunch of the money that TPUSA was receiving, the biggest chunk of the donations was coming through these anonymous donor-advised funds. And the Bradley Impact Fund, as best as I can understand, is just another anonymous donor-advised fund, basically, more or less, that really fits into the same category as number 2 here. So, number 3, Bernie Marcus, the Marcus Foundation. $4.6 million plus donated from 2015 to 2024 with extensive links to Israel. This is Bernie Marcus. He has passed away in 2024. He has donated to all sorts of things like the Blood Center in Israel. Between 2002 to 2012, according to Powerbase, which is, they track charitable donations and charitable organizations and such, nonprofits, etc. From 2002 to 2012, the foundation donated $3 million plus to the Friends of the Israeli Defense Forces. Marcus is also the founder of the Israel Democracy Institute. His profile on the homepage describes the IDI as their focus as being Jewish causes, children, medical research, free enterprise, and the community. In the final political donation recorded publicly before his death, according to the Times of Israel, made in July, Marcus gave $1 million to the United Democracy Project, a campaign fundraising group affiliated with the pro-Israel lobby AIPAC, which Marcus has supported since its creation in 2022. The Marcus Foundation makes legacy $60 million investment in Route 1 to revamp how American Jews tackle the crisis of anti-Semitism. With this investment, the Marcus Foundation has given a total of $140 million in grants to Route 1 since its founding in 2020. In partnership with dozens of youth-serving organizations, camps, and communities, Route 1 has made it possible for tens of thousands of teens to experience meaningful, fun, and safe travel to Israel. This is according to prnewswire.com. So, let's be clear. This is a fine line. It's complicated. American Jewish people are welcome to donate to whatever they want to donate to. It's their right. They are welcome within the bounds of the law to use their money how they want to use their money. Freedom of speech, right? But it's a little hypocritical when we see over and over again, as we are about to, that these Jewish billionaires, not like the average regular Jewish people. Average regular Jewish people are a whole other thing. They're just regular people for the most part, right? And some of them are pro-Israel and some of them are anti-Israel. That's a whole different thing. Jewish billionaires, the kinds of people that become billionaires, usually not the greatest of people. Jewish billionaires over and over and over again will be Americans that dedicate their entire lives to donating money to a foreign government, to supporting a foreign government, to supporting a foreign military, to even serving in a foreign military, to supporting all this shit for Israel. But not a whole lot over here, unless it's Turning Point USA and other organizations that will actually turn America to supporting Israel. Again, for Israel, right? So, that's Bernie Marcus. Briefly, quickly. The Dunn Foundation, William Dunn. Extremely limited public information available. Foundation formerly named Dunn's Foundation for the Advancement of Right Thinking. No Israeli organizational connections found in available records, according to Claude. William Dunn is extremely secretive about his money. He's extremely secretive about his life. And as far as I can tell, as far as Claude could tell, not Jewish, not Israeli, without a whole lot of documented ties to Israel. And that's true. I mean, not every donor at TPUSA was Jewish, and not every donor was pro-Israel in that way. Ed Uihlein Family Foundation might sound Jewish. It's not. It's a German name, actually. They are very right-wing. There's all this controversial stuff about them, like saying that the 2020 election was stolen and stuff like that. But not a lot of Jewish or Israeli connections there. Stephen Feinberg, number 6, the Tracking Foundation, total 1.2 million, 2017 to 2019. Don't treat these numbers as being definitive. Don't treat them as the truth, as the full maximum. This is just at least what Claude was able to dig up, and there's probably more, but it's hard to say. But big donor, Stephen Feinberg, and the Tracking Foundation. Stephen Feinberg is a whole can of worms, okay? He comes from Drexel Burnham Lambert. If you don't know about Drexel Burnham Lambert, they are a very famous corrupt financial institution from the 80s that did a lot of fucked up shit and birthed a lot of the modern corrupt financial system that we live in today. For example, Leon Black, who founded Apollo Global Management, who's very good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, he was a scion of Drexel Burnham Lambert and Michael Milken. And many of the people, the higher level executives at Burnham Lambert, went on to found very powerful financial institutions like Steve Feinberg, who founded Cerberus Capital Management, which is a whole can of worms, from Din Corp allegedly trafficking children overseas in war zones to, do I have more stuff on it? To Tier 1 Group that apparently trained the Saudi nationals who assassinated Jamal Khashoggi, to bankrupting healthcare and hospital companies in the standard private equity playbook. All sorts of scandals. Claude made a mistake of thinking that he was on the board of JINSA, which he is not. JINSA is a whole rabbit hole, but we're not going to spend the time to do that right now. So let's talk about the Perlmutters. Do I have the Perlmutters? Yeah. Ike Perlmutter. He was actually born in Mandatory Palestine in 1945. He served in the IDF during the Six-Day War in 1967. And he has all sorts of ties to Israel, mostly through the Isaac and Laura Perlmutter Foundation, which donates to, groups like Friends of the IDF, the Bruce and Marsha Moskowitz Foundation, don't know what that is, Anti-Defamation League, we all know what that is, the Robin Hood Foundation, the Jewish Agency for Israel. This is straight off of the Laura and Isaac Perlmutter Foundation's website. The foundation donated $1 million to the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism. To shut you up, you bigot. They support Magen David Adom, Israel's representative to the International Red Cross, is the official national emergency medical disaster ambulance and blood bank service in Israel. In other words, it's a mission to save lives. The foundation supports United Hatzalah, is a community-based volunteer emergency medical services organization committed to providing the fastest response to medical emergencies across Israel. I guess they didn't get the memo on October 7th. And then they had this deal where they gave a whole bunch of money to cancer research, $9 million, but actually $6 million of it went to developing a state-of-the-art research facility at the Technion campus in Israel, which is like this advanced tech company organization in Israel that does all this super advanced research. So actually most of, 6 out of 9 of those $1 million was actually going to Israel as well. So Isaac Perlmutter, huge Jewish Zionist. Robert Shillman. Robert Shillman is at the forefront of the news. Sorry, I'm scrolling all over right now. Robert Shillman is at the forefront of the news because he shows up in the Gray Zone article. Because Max Blumenthal reported just this last month that allegedly Shillman was the Zionist donor, the Jewish donor that pulled out his multi-million-dollar donations to TPUSA just days before Charlie was assassinated and asked them not to put his name on their building and not to display his plaque. He was done with it. Over it, allegedly. And then in digging into Shillman, apparently, according to Max Blumenthal, Robert Shillman has also been uniquely involved in funding Tommy Robinson over in the UK. Islam, 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 Islam. You know who else he funds? Laura Loomer. That's weird. You know, Laura, I don't know how much money you're getting from billionaires, but I know that I'm not getting a single dime. I'm not getting a dime from any weird groups, organizations, philanthropies, nonprofits, dark money, billionaires, any of it. Not a single dollar, Laura. But Laura is very fond of accusing everyone on the internet of being funded by Qatar, funded by Islamic groups, whatever it is, right? Well, she is receiving money from a Jewish billionaire that is very suspicious. Okay? So maybe, Laura, just maybe, when you live in a glass house with a whole bunch of mental issues, just don't throw stones. Just don't. Because out here, at least for myself, I know I am clean. I am clean of tainted donations. I'm clean of tainted money. It's you guys that support me. It's your generous donations. It's the viewership, just regular ad revenue on the platforms. That's it. I am going to be taking sponsors in the near future from family and founder-owned companies, almost exclusively. I think totally exclusively. And we'll cross that bridge in a couple weeks. But I'm not being funded by weird billionaires and Lord knows what. So I just thought I would mention that. But that's not all. Shillman is on the board of directors at Northeastern University and Friends of the Israel Defense Forces, according to Market Screener, which is, it looks like a shady website. Market Screener is a very high-level financial website that gives financial information. They're legit. And also, Wikipedia says the same thing. Shillman sits on the board of the Friends of the IDF, the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous, and the David Horowitz Freedom Center. David Horowitz, very important person in the story of TPUSA. In May of 2008, President George W. Bush appointed him to serve on the honorary delegation to accompany him to Jerusalem for the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the State of Israel. And this is more corroboration of the same. Between 2002 and 2013, his foundation donated $2.5 million to the Friends of the IDF. Okay? So that's just a smattering of the donors that built Turning Point USA. And I think we all know what they were donating to, why they were donating, right? They donate to Friends of the IDF and to, the Jewish Freedom Center and all these other organizations, right? They're building hospitals and schools and sending kids from America to Israel to do propaganda tours and all these things. That's what they're donating to. And to TPUSA. Because of what TPUSA stood for. Obviously. And so, if you've got all of these Jewish billionaires, some of whom, one of whom at least, literally killed Palestinians to found Israel, what would they be willing to do to keep Turning Point USA pro-Israel?
That would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.